Welcome back to our channel. In this video we are going to continue reviewing iHuman setup and instructions, focusing on the complete case version of the iHuman Patients Case Player. In the previous video we explained that the iHuman Patients Case Player has two modes and reviewed the setup and instructions for one of them, the learning mode. In this video, we'll focus on the other mode, which we'll call the complete case mode. While the setups for the two modes are similar, their instructions are slightly different. Let's look at the differences. The first difference is noted in the case instructions. The first instruction states that by submitting this assignment, you authorize that the work contained within is your own. In other words, do not forget academic integrity when handling any iHuman assignment. Now let's look at the student case play instructions. Please follow the assignment due dates listed in Canvas. The due dates listed in the iHuman program are not the due dates for this assignment. The dates listed in iHuman are for administrative purposes only. All iHuman cases completed after the due dates listed in Canvas will be considered late. Now, for us to actually note or identify the differences between the learning mode and the complete case mode, we'll have to look at the grading rubric for a basic DDX or differential diagnosis case. Now, your history question limit for your patient is 90 questions. Please use them wisely. These are the questions that you have to ask the patient to determine the actual differentials or the diagnosis that you can use to draft. Note from the instructor: you are required to complete all sections of the EHR. This section can be found by clicking on the EHR button located in the lower left corner of your case. It is available to access until you complete the case and submit. Once your case assignment has been submitted, you cannot go back and change any section. Basic breakdown. The history question limit for your patient is 90 questions. Please use them wisely. Remember, in the previous video, I explained that the grading rubric for the learning mode focuses on three areas: history, which takes 40%, physical exams, which takes another 40%, and plan, which takes the remaining 20%. Now, for the complete case version, the grading rubric focuses on three areas, but in a slightly different way to the learning mode. They include HPI, or History of Present Illness Statement, which takes 10% of the grade; plan, which covering all critical components of patient's final diagnosis, takes 40%. Then the remaining 50% is taken by the other parts of the case. Like the learning mode, the complete case version has 10 sections for or sets of activities, each of which we are going to review in this video. Taking history. Usually, taking history is the first task in the iHuman Patients Case Player, but that can change in cases that starts with an exercise. Now, let's look at the 10 sections or sets of activities to be taken when handling the complete case version. 1. Take the patient history. You are limited to a maximum of 90 history questions, during which you are required to assess all aspects of the patient's HPI and pertinent related history. Decide if this is a patient that can be treated as an outpatient, i.e., a focused case with fewer history questions needed, or the patient has to be hospitalized for treatment, i.e., comprehensive case where all components of a history should be investigated. Do you have a prior chart to review? If there's a chart, you'll find it in the EHR section under the previous visit. You're also required to document the chief complaint on a chart under the HX or history notes section. The last activity is to document any abnormal history or complaint on your key findings. In summary, taking history of the history section of the iHuman involves 4 activities. 1. Asking the patient questions about their health history. 2. Filling in the EHR. 3. Document any abnormal history or complaints in your key findings. And the last one, documenting the chief complaint on a chart under the HX or history notes section. Physical exam. The second set of activity. Proceed to perform a physical exam. You are limited to a maximum of 40 physical exams. One of the activities you are required to do here includes performing the examination appropriate for the type of case identified by the above history. Remember, the comprehensive cases require a comprehensive physical. To receive credit for checking vital signs, you must view the vitals in the EHR prior to submitting or finalizing the physical exam section. To view vital signs, click EHR Current Visit Physical Exam tab. The third set of activity includes document abnormal history and physical findings on your key findings list. HPI or history of present illness and DDX or differential diagnosis. The fourth activity, write a concise HPI and include it in the correct place as part of the EHR. Start with the demographic introduction of your patient and their chief complaint. Include data on all aspects of the history of present illness as well as pertinent medical history, current medications, and other history data that will help support your diagnosis. The fifth activity, complete your differential diagnosis list. You may start your differential diagnosis during the history taking section, but after completing the problem statement, reflect and finalize your differential diagnosis list. Remember, this part of the case will be scored on how comprehensive this list is. You will not lose points for having too many. The average list contains 5 diagnoses. The remaining set of activities. The sixth activity, order test, during which you are required to order test for your top 2 diagnoses only and link it to a diagnosis. Some tests are ordered to rule in a diagnosis while others are ordered to rule out a diagnosis. The seventh activity, review test results. Eighth activity, select a final diagnosis. Ninth activity, create a management plan template, which takes about 50 points. See course announcements for required template. Then the last activity, submit your case and review your case play score. Warning: the complete case version of iHuman has a set of warnings that you're supposed to pay attention to, so let's look at them. Do not try to scam the system by just clicking on everything. The software tracks not only what is done but also keeps track of the order of completion. Clicking on the first opening question and then just going down the list of questions in the history is viewed as scamming the system and can result in a score of 0. Note that the same principle applies to each section. The time for completing the case as well as the time spent in each section of the case is also recorded. This data has been shown to correlate with case performance. Very short times have lower scores as do very long times. The former, very short times, is most likely due to lack of effort, while the latter, very long time, maybe because the user is receiving multiple interruptions. The low score then most likely reflects lack of continuity of thought. And with that, we've come to the end of our review of setup and instruction for the iHuman patient case player when dealing with the complete case version. Thank you for watching and best of luck on handling the iHuman patient case player. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more medical education content. See you in the next video.